What's going on, Cougars? It's me, Luke Westfall, your assistant producer for Coug on the Clock, and today I'm here with a very special guest of mine, Mr.
Matti,
co-host of the WSN segment, March to Madness. Of course, make sure you check that out on the Wazzu Sports Network Instagram Reels and TikTok. But today, we're doing Coug on the Clock, and we're not talking about our show as much, but we are going to start off with some Final Four college basketball, move into some more college basketball with transfers and draft news for Cougar basketball players. A lot of things going on there. We're also going to talk about the NBA as it's starting to wind down towards the end of the season. We're going to finish off with some WSU baseball game yesterday coming up this weekend, and then we got birthdays, of course, at the end. So make sure that you stay tuned for all of that, and let's get it cracking. Let's go.
Let's get into it.
We're going to start off with Final Four basketball coming up on Saturday. We got two Final Four games, of course. My team, shout out J.D. Smith, the FAU Owls, the 9 seed, which, by the way, would be the lowest seed to ever win a tournament because right now it's an 8 seed, is the lowest seed ever, versus 5 seed San Diego State. We also got 5 seed Miami versus 4 seed Connecticut. Connecticut is the only team remaining that's ever won a national championship. None of these teams have ever made a Final Four outside of Connecticut.
Really?
And no tournament, ever since seeding has become a thing, has ever featured 0 1 seeds, not only in the Final Four but in the Elite Eight. So we're talking historic terms right now. There's no 1, 2, or 3 seeds left. What do you make of all this? It is legitimately madness.
It is madness. It's a March to Madness.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Definitely an unconventional tournament this year. After last year was very, very uniform, full of blue bloods. This year is not the case. UConn is the only blue blood you could really say is a blue blood.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're pulling for the underdogs with FAU.
Go FAU.
But it's going to be fun to see either way. This tournament's been pretty exciting. Obviously, our College of Charleston Cougars did not advance past the round of 64.
Yeah, I mean, they lost to a team that's in the Final Four right now in San Diego State.
Hey.
And let me tell you something. FAU is an offensive monster. They can rebound a little bit, too, right now in the regular season. They were 15th in the country in total rebounds. Or rebounds per game, actually, my bad. But they're more of an offensive team. San Diego State, much, much more of a defensive team in terms of field goal percentage. They were 181st in the country. Rebounds per game, 94th. So they're a little bit outmatched offensively and on the glass. But it's going to be a defensive game for San Diego State. And so far, every team that they've played, they've been able to handle defensively.
Well,
but,
they've made it this far. You can't say that for pretty much any other team.
The other thing I should mention is a lot of people are going to say that FAU plays in a weak conference. The NIT championship going on tonight is between 2 teams that are in the Conference USA, the same conference that FAU came from. Conference USA right now has a Final Four team and 2 NIT finalists, and we'll have an NIT champion. So they're
what they say.
A lot better than the Pac-12 right now.
You know what they say, the NIT is right for me.
You should also say, if you're a Pac-12 fan, probably root for San Diego State if you're a Pac-12 fan. Because they'll be in the Pac-12 in a couple years.
Yeah.
But if we're going to mention Miami and Connecticut real quick, because Connecticut kind of looks like the favorite, huh?
Obviously.
Miami outscores them a little bit, but Connecticut got them handled kind of on the rebounds. 12th in the country in rebounds on the season. Miami was 136th in the country in rebounds. So that's what I'm watching for.
All right. Well, obviously, we'll be keeping an eye out for that.
Transfers. Talk to WSU basketball here.
Yep.
Launchpad school, that's what they call us. People don't stick around a lot of the time.
No, they don't.
Last year we had Noah Williams. We had Michael Flowers left. We also had Tyrell Williams transferred to San Francisco. F.A. Abagidi went to the G League. A lot of people left. Moge ended up coming back. He hasn't officially declared for the draft yet, but keeping tabs on that could potentially happen. But the big ones, TJ Bamba declared for the draft, but also entered the transfer portal. So barring something crazy, most likely is not going to be playing here next year. Of course, me and Matti went to UW and watched that Apple Cup game where he scored 36 points, shot 60% from the field and 65% from three. It was one of probably the best college basketball performance that I've ever seen with my own two eyes.
100% agree with that.
Yeah. You want to talk about him?
Well, it was a fantastic game. Obviously, I know we were joking about that NIL commercial that they played like 30 times during the home games. But genuinely, TJ Bamba is such an explosive player to watch. He's a great player to watch. That Apple Cup game was so much fun. He could have easily dropped 40 if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think if they wouldn't have kind of slowed off at the end, just kind of mercy rule there, then they probably would have let him run after it.
Obviously not the same hard feelings as we had when Noah left. We wish TJ the best.
We love TJ.
We love TJ. He'll always have a home here in the Palouse. Yeah. But unfortunate to see. There was another.
There's another transfer, and this is a guy who didn't play last year because of some health concerns, but a guy who has played 2 seasons here on the Palouse, and that's the big man, Deshaun Jackson, 6'10", 250. So he literally is a big man, probably the only guy that can really compete with Jack Wilson on that side of things. Of course, who is also leaving, the junior this year from Oakland, California, who, of course, I mentioned he missed last season, but in his second season year, 6 points per game, right around 4 rebounds, 55% from the field. So he's a nice big body inside. So we'll see where he goes.
Well, he also didn't play a lot his first year.
Yeah.
But first year, he started coming into his own towards the end of the season, and then obviously during the off season and at the beginning of the season, unfortunately, he had to step away and was unable to play for the season.
Right.
Along with Miles Rice, who is cancer-free, which is such a great thing.
That's so awesome.
Such a great thing to hear.
And he's going to have to step up this year with more TJ.
Yep. There is one more person, though.
Yes. Justin Powell has not transferred. He's not in the transfer portal. But he did declare for the NBA draft. And just like Mo did last year, of course, if he tests the waters and he doesn't get the read that he wants, he can come back because he still holds eligibility. He was only a junior last year, and he's already transferred twice from Auburn and Tennessee.
Right.
But he is testing out the draft. I mean, he really showed some good stuff at the end. Low turnovers, high assists, a pass-first kind of guy. And he shot 42.5% from three. So a really interesting prospect. Maybe not NBA level yet, but we'll see. But he might be back next year.
Someone we'd love to see back.
Love to see him back. Our third segment we'll move into here. A little bit more basketball, but we're going up a level.
Yep.
The NBA.
Yep.
And the biggest news in the NBA right now, shout out BG, Sacktown. The Kings,
916 represent.
The Kings are going to the playoffs for the first time since 2006.
Light the beam.
Which, for all you Mariners fans, was the second longest streak in pro sports until the Mariners made the playoffs last year. So then they were the longest, and they only did that for a year. So maybe learn a lesson from the Kings. They know how to end it when it gets rough there, but good for them. I mean, they're not just like they didn't just sneak into the playoffs.
No, they're a solid team.
The season ends April 9th. We're still in March. They already clinched. They're the 3rd seed in the West, which, I mean, the East is pretty top-heavy, but I would say that the West is deeper talent-wise. So being 3rd is pretty impressive right now.
100%, especially based on how they have played in the past. Obviously, they've made some big moves, acquiring Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabonis.
That was big. Who else have they?
Well, of course, they got De'Aaron Fox on that team. He's a stud. They drafted.
Do they still have Buddy Hield, or did he get traded?
Buddy Hield's gone.
He's gone.
But they drafted Murray. Chris Murray, I believe it is. There's 2 Murrays. One of them's still at Iowa, but they drafted one in the first round, and he's been a really nice player in his rookie season. So I really like what they have there, and I love when they light the beam. For some reason, it always pops up on my social media. But it's really cool to see. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the standings is just like a little rumor here. It's a little bit biased because it's my team for now until Seattle comes back. But there was a report from Shams, the Riz God Shams, who said that he thinks that Damian Lillard's done in Portland. And why might he think this? Well, because they just shut him down for the rest of the year. Right now, Portland is 6th in the draft odds, 32-44. They've been awful. Pretty much everyone's been injured this season, and they just have not been ran very well. He's got
They were on the upturn.
They were, but then they kind of fell off with some injuries and just not an overall great turn. I mean, they had one 4-game win streak this season, and it was the first 4 games of the season. So, I mean, I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that whole thing. Do you think that's something where it would probably be mutually beneficial to move on?
I don't think Dame wants to move on, But if he's forced to, obviously he doesn't have much of a choice.
I mean, $50 million for a guy on a rebuilding team is a little bit conflicting.
You want to go into the standings a little bit? We're running out of time here.
No, you're good.
Obviously, we'll
move into it.
Fan, so.
The Western Conference, Denver's number 1. Of course, Memphis, Sacktown. If the playoffs ended today, it would be 3-seed Sacktown versus 6-seed Golden State, and it would be the Suns in the 4-seed versus the 5-seed Clippers. The East is the Bucks number 1, Boston number 2. You would have 4-seed Cleveland versus 5-seed Knicks, 3-seed Philly versus 6-seed Brooklyn, who made that big trade, and so far they've been a little bit better since that trade than the Suns, even though the Suns are okay. And then play-in tournament, your Heat are the 7-seed right now, and they would be in the play-in tournament facing the 8-seed Hawks. So a little bit of an advantage in the plan.
Easy dub. I'm very confident. Kevin Love is helping us.
You're not worried about Ice Tray in the play-in tournament? Yeah.
We're not New York.
We'll move into our last topic, WSU baseball.
Yes.
It was a 6-game losing streak. Yesterday they played 9-15, now 9-16 Linfield, and as they should have dominated them, it was 9-1.
Yep.
And Matti, our correspondent with KUGR, was there on the call.
I was on the call.
Got to call his first home run. They hit 4 total home runs. What was the game like? Talk to me about that game.
Well, Linfield's pitching struggled immensely.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many pitchers they went through, but it was probably high single digits, maybe low double digits.
Yeah, I checked it. I don't remember the exact number, but they didn't have a pitcher go more than 1 inning in the game.
True. Yes. Which was odd because when they first pulled their pitcher, their starting pitcher, he'd only given up 1 run. That's all he'd given up. So it was very strange to see them go to the bullpen so many times. Maybe
just short on starters. Midweek game, they don't want to use a starter before the weekend.
Yeah. But the Cougs' bats were flying. Kyle Russell had what a game. He had a long ball. He hit a home run out of the park.
Yep.
He had RBI double, RBI single, got hit in the head.
Yeah.
That was one of the most absurd hit by pitchers I've ever seen because it was about a 70-mile-an-hour pitch. It was off speed. It just doinked off of his head, and instead of he wasn't hurt at all, dude just took his base like nothing happened. It was crazy.
True warrior right there.
Yes, I got to call my first play-by-play home run, which was really exciting. Elijah Hainline going deep to left field, as well as we had back-to-back home runs from Kyle Russell and Sam Brown.
Yeah, Sam Brown.
And then at the end of the game, Jake Harvey went deep as well to put the Cougs up 9-1, breaking that losing streak. Obviously, a good way to break that streak.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
We come in, it's a 5-game homestead, so I think it's a 4-game series against UCLA. Or is it only 3?
There's 3 games.
3 games against UCLA and then another game. I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll jump into that. So 3-game series this weekend against UCLA. Of course, we talked about him calling game. I'll call the game on Sunday with KUGR, so tune into that. Of course, the first game's tomorrow and then Saturday. Interesting thing about this, the Cougars do have a slightly better offense in terms of Pac-12 ranks, even though UCLA does come in as the 12th ranked team in the country. The thing I want to focus on is the offense for UCLA. They got a guy right now. His name is John Vaughns, currently 3rd in the Pac-12 with 8 home runs. But their pitching is absurdly good. Right now they have the ERA leader in the Pac-12, Kelly Austin, who will most likely see the 1.38 ERA in 6 starts. They also got the guy who's 4th with a 2.52 ERA, 4th in the Pac-12. WSU has some guys. Jonah Advincula is 3rd in the Pac-12 in steals with 9. And Chase Grillo is number 1 in the Pac-12 in saves with 5, and he's got a 2.70 ERA. The Cougars are first in the Pac-12 in terms of total strikeouts. But they have the 2nd worst fielding percentage in the Pac-12, and they're also bottom 2 in ERA in the Pac-12 right now. So pitching and defense, even though there's a lot of strikeouts there, have been a little bit iffy, but we're slightly above average in the offensive category, as you noticed against Linfield. So I think it's going to be a big test to see if the pitching can hold up against an elite offense. But I should say that even though they're ranked 12th in the country, and they're 13-2 at home, they're just 3-4 on the road, UCLA is, and we're 6-3 at home. So potentially a nice advantage there. And UCLA is coming off a 3-game losing streak. So
I guess something we should mention is that Linfield is a Division III school.
Yeah, not amazing.
So it was definitely a spark we needed. But if we had lost that game, oh boy.
Still, though, I mean, it's nice to, like, have a little confidence booster, kind of get used to your surroundings a little bit before you go back into the
Fun fact, Linfield was my number 2 school to WSU.
Oh, how about that?
I almost went because it's about an hour away from Eugene where I grew up.
Not bad.
So, but it's private school, costs a lot of money. I did not have it.
Alrighty, well, that does it for our 4 topics. We got one last thing here. Of course, as always, we jump into the birthdays for this weekend. I got 4 big ones for you. Technically 5, but 4. So the first one is Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor.
Of course, legendary Redskins player.
Yes.
Matti, your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, if you're a football fan, you know the impact that Sean Taylor had on the game. An absolute hard hitter. Definitely gone too soon, as we know. And unfortunately, the Commanders organization just didn't do him justice with the statue that they put
like
out.
That.
I mean, obviously, that's just a problematic franchise in general.
Hopefully, when it gets sold here soon, we'll see a better Sean Taylor shrine.
Yes, but definitely a big rest in peace to someone who changed the way safety's played.
Yeah.
Safety, right? It was a safety.
Yes.
Yes.
And the last few here, we got a double doink.
Really?
It's the Lopez twins, Robin and Brooke. So congratulations to them, 2 funny guys. Pascal Siakam from the Raptors, really nice WNBA, really nice NBA player there. And Austin Riley for you baseball fans, a stud for the Braves out there, young stud. That does it for our birthdays and our episode. Between us 2 co-hosts from the March to Madness podcast.
Go
of course, make sure.
Check out March to Madness.
Check out March to Madness on TikTok and on the WSN Instagram.
Yes, March to Madness TikTok. It's marchtomadness.wazzu, W-A-Z-Z-U. We just got done filming some stuff with Jabe Mullins and Jack Wilson that we're really excited to put out. Obviously, that's our passion project.
So definitely check that out, and make sure that you check out the Wazzu Sports Network Instagram, also the Wazzu Sports Net Twitter, and also the TikTok for Wazzu Sports Network, which is also Wazzu Sports Network. And then you can find the merch shop in the bios. The link is in the bios for those social media. So make sure you check that out as well. So for Matti Tenny, I'm Luke Westfall. Thanks for watching this episode of Coug on the Clock. We'll see you later, Cougs.
Go Cougs.